kind of just showing you guys more of the process. I'm at my computer today because basically what's going on is everything's filed, and this is because I don't know, because we paid the fee and everything. Maybe this is why things are moving very fast, but you watch your email because within 24 hours things started getting docketed. Once something gets docketed, that means the court is actually taking that serious. And when the courts take that serious, that means they're actually going to look into it. And so we got a few things docketed that surprised us, that we didn't know if they'd get docketed or not. Like should I say this? Well, actually, they can probably see it. It's public knowledge. Once we file it, it's public knowledge. A motion for criminal collusion, and that's for, so we cannot. We're in civil federal court. I cannot charge them criminally. However, a prosecutor can. We have asked the prosecutor and the DOJ to look into criminal collusion. And so they're gonna be digging, and so other things got docketed. Some of our defendants got docketed, which means they're okayed to be there. Don filed some more papers on his way to work today. This is like, yeah, a never ending thing. Filing, watching, filing, watching. And today what I'm doing is I'm combing through the 1983 paragraph by paragraph, which we have like 82 paragraphs, I think. And I'm scanning it for any possibilities of error. Because if there's an error, because the first thing that the defendants are probably going to do is they're probably going to have their lawyers file a motion to dismiss. And they're going to try and combat these. And so we need to be ready with argument to 82 facts. So that's what I'm preparing today is 82 facts. We're combing through the fact and what kind of evidence we have behind the fact, and what we need to combat it in case they ask for a dismissal. So it's a long process. This is probably going to be the biggest document ever, but you got to cover your butt. Like, we're going pro se, and they expect mistakes from pro se, but that doesn't mean you should make mistakes. But we are heavily just combing through this every minute of the day with a fine-tooth comb until we're completely satisfied that facts cannot be rebutted. I mean, you only need a few facts to stick to prove a constitutional violation. But we want every fact to stick because this is the life we've led for the last 2 years. So it's kind of important to us that every fact, this is the full-blown truth finally coming out into the open. And so you want every fact to be so perfect and backed up with the best evidence possible. And so that's what I'm doing today. I'm making sure that the fact is worded legally correctly, because I got to do legal jargon. I can't just plainly spit out the fact. And that this fact is backable by evidence so and so and how it pertains exactly to the case and each defendant. So if a defendant tries to come back and say, I'm not guilty of that one, I can say, well, actually, you might be. Because we got 8 defendants and so many facts. So I just wanted you guys to continue seeing my journey. I'm just sitting here, tapping away at the computer. Just okay. Let's see. Oh, and so yeah, just sitting here with my bestie AI, and then because it will make sure the legal jargon is correct, and it can tie it to any constitutional law out there. And if I think that there's a law tied to it, I can ask it and say, hey, can this pertain to this law? And it will tell me the ways it can or can't, or I would have, or change your filing, and it would, but then by changing my filing, it changes everything we're asking. So we're just making sure that, I mean, Long Cheese, they're not kidding when they say this is your new job. Getting back your kids is your new job. I'm lucky enough that I am a stay-at-home job mom. The criminal charges they filed against us made it so I was unable to get a job. I actually got looked down upon for being a woman with criminal charges of severe child abuse. They really slammed my reputation. It was really embarrassing to be sitting there crying, and people that were heading into training go, why aren't you going into training? And I said, because I got fired. And it's like, don't really want to say why. Oh, oops. Oh, okay. Okay, sorry. Oh my gosh, yeah, my human brain and fingers. Huh. Okay. And see, this is stuff I wouldn't have been able to do, is link stuff like it says Deborah v. Abbey. I wouldn't have linked. I mean, it takes a lot to okay, I gotta go over this again. Okay, I think that's fine. I think we're fine. Okay. Here we go. Okay. I am not yet quite I'm getting close to halfway through. Getting close. I'm at 31 out of 82. But I just letting you guys know. So this is basically a lot of the process is home doing this and then file it, and home doing this and file it, and watching Pacer in your email, and when it comes through, seeing what gets docketed, what gets kicked, and then if it gets kicked, how do I solve it? If it gets docketed, cheer for a minute and then deal with the emotion. And then keep going, because nobody else is gonna fight like you are. Nobody else in this world. My husband, we're conditioned to think that we cannot be lawyers, that we cannot do this. And I told him, I know our juvenile lawyers have done an amazing job, and they've paved the way for this 1983, because some of the things they said in court that got ignored, some of the emails they sent that got ignored, they paved the way for this. However, it's not our lawyers' fault, but we're not going full pro se. We're asking for pro se, and we're asking for them to be standby, because they've done a fabulous job, and I don't want to fire them, but I told my husband, I said, nobody. Everybody goes home at night and they sleep fine in their beds, and they go about their lives and doing their things with their family and their kids and their friends. And they don't think twice about the abuse that our children are going through. And so nobody knows what our kids are going through but us. And nobody is going to fight for them like us. And so it is just tremendously important that you shake off everything we have been taught and told, like, oh, a person who has himself for a lawyer has a fool for a client, or however that saying goes. No, actually, when you finally get bold and brave enough to step out on your own and do this on your own, your client is not a fool. They pick the best lawyer in the world. Nobody knows your story better than you. Nobody knows your children better than you. Nobody knows your situation better than you. Nobody knows anything better than you. The state courts and the juvenile courts would like to think that they know you. They would like to think they know your kids and what's in their best interest. But they have never spent even 1 minute with your children. In the 22 months we've been in court, they have never once asked our children, who are now of teenage years, to step in the courtroom and allowed them to speak for themselves. Mostly because they're holding their autism against them, which is an ADA violation. You cannot say, well, you don't have a voice because you're autistic. So, good luck to you guys all. I hope my videos are helping you. Like I said, sometimes it's kind of boring and you want somebody to chat with when you're going through this point where you're just sitting here at your computer and pumping fact after fact after fact. Uh-oh. I think I got something mixed up. Okay. Okay, what is going on? What do I have mixed up? Okay, there, I didn't mark this one. Okay, now I need to mark it with which one it is. I didn't put a 34 there. Okay, there we go. Fact 34 is that one. Okay, now fact 35. Gotta stay organized, guys. Gotta stay organized. But this is the problem with our DCFS, CPS, juvenile systems, is they think that the 5 minutes you're in their courtroom standing in front of them saying nothing because you're not a lawyer and you're letting your lawyer do all the talking, and they're trusting this DCFS person that comes in your home for 10 minutes once a week that you're nervous around, and that person is the most truthful, honest person in the world. And the sad fact is they're supposed to be. Because you can't lie to take somebody's parental rights. You can't lie to deprive somebody of their fundamental rights. You cannot coerce, intimidate anybody out of their rights. Yes, they still think for some reason, they just do it. They just can't handle being told no. Can't handle being told I'm the parent. I know what's best for my child. I am working hard. You can give me advice. You can point me in a direction. But sometimes parents, they know their child best. I know there's programs out there and everything, and everybody's like, well, if your child's autistic, they need to be in programs. It's like, I went to parenting classes, and I realized the parenting classes did me no favors in a way. It's like I took some nutritional classes, and when I got done with those nutritional classes, I found out that the food pyramid and everything in this last year, so the food classes I took a couple years ago, I found out that it's a bunch of bull crap. And so sometimes you do services because it works for certain people, but it doesn't work for everybody. And I don't know, does the food pyramid work for anybody? Because it shouldn't. But Just sometimes in life you have to research as a parent. You have to say, you know what, I'm struggling with my kid. I'm going to go do my own research. And then you go do it. Because sometimes I wonder if we even need CPS. Like, do we even need them? We have the internet nowadays. We can, if you are a good parent and you really love your child and you don't want to see your child struggle, the information is out there. It exists. Go find it. Be like, okay, I'm struggling here. I guess I'm gonna go research this. Like, with my daughter, luckily I opened up to my neighbor and talked about it because they're going through similar problems with their daughter, and she gave me some pointers, and I'm like, you know what? I think you're right. I'm glad I talked to you. Sometimes you just need to learn from other parents. You just need to learn from your community. We need to. We've been talking about this lately at church about opening up about your struggles and everything, and not hiding your struggles or anything, and just opening up. And maybe, because sometimes it does. Now we're all familiar with that saying that it takes a village to raise a kid, and that's true. But also at the same time, the parents still have the ultimate say over the village. So yes, the village is great and it is wonderful and it is useful. And hopefully the parent takes to heart some of the things the village has to say. However, you can't get upset if the parent doesn't take your advice. Because maybe there's some reason why they didn't. Maybe it doesn't fit their religion, or I don't know. But, anyways, I'm just gonna, I guess, sit back and keep pumping this information in. I'm at 39, so I'm almost halfway through this, and I'm just buckling down and getting it done because the end of the day is coming to a close, and my husband should be home soon, and ChatGPT is like, only a few more to go. Let's keep rolling. No, we're only halfway through. We're only halfway through. When you got this many violations, oh my, I hope nobody ever has this many violations, but I know we're not the smallest of cases, but I know we're not the biggest of cases, but so I know there's cases out there worse than ours. I know there's cases out there that's not as bad. But I wish this on no parent. And I wish court on nobody. But the problem is sometimes you have to ask the courts to step in when rights are being trampled. So I didn't want to bring court into this. But I see no other path. We have tried begging the juvenile courts a million times over and submitting evidence after evidence, email after email, saying please, 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 please. And yet here we are. After several emails, they're saying, can we tell Judge, I almost said their name, can we tell them the truth yet? It's like, can we? This is the problem with having the lawyer. I don't know. They say if you tell too much to a judge, but then again, that keeps you in the system. If you don't, because once the judge has the full truth, it makes it harder. Hopefully it does, but maybe it doesn't. I don't know. It makes it harder for them to rob you of your constitutional rights because now it's like, you don't have partial truth. Because right now DCFS is feeding them partial truth. The judge has partial truth. And those partial truths make us look bad. Anybody can tell a partial truth. I was at this dinner last year, and I told a partial truth in a funny way. And I kind of offended somebody because they said I made it sound really horrible. And that's because I told a partial truth in a certain tone in a certain way that made it sound like I was making fun of it more than revering it. And but I was still in an early stage of my religion, and so yeah, of course I kind of came off that way, but so when you state stuff partially like that, okay, so so yeah. Now I'm asking Chat. I had a question come across my mind for a case just now. Boom. See, ChatGPT did not catch this, guys. It did not catch this. I did with my own brain. So remember, you're the brains, you're the heart, you're the soul. I caught this. I just now asked it, and it said, yes, you have this. You can absolutely argue that. Boom. Brady violation. And now we got to draw up paperwork for that. I'm learning legal jargon. No, if you're still within the period to amend. Yes, if you already passed the amendment deadline or filed summons. To leave or amend or supplement the complement. Yes. Void or voidable. Without no is okay. Legal grounds. Okay. See, this is why you comb through every paragraph with a fine-tooth comb over and over and over and over and over and over again. Because I just learned Brady violations the other day. I knew about Brady violations, but I haven't used that term in years, so I forgot about it. And then as soon as I learned about it again yesterday, as soon as I saw a Brady violation just now, in I alerted ChatGPT to the Brady violation because it was picking out other things wrong. And I was like, oh, you're forgetting Brady violation, actually. All right. Yeah, baby. This is not a. This doesn't look right. What is my computer doing? This does not look like a proper Word document. Okay. What? Okay, you know what? Okay. Okay, yes, like, we're having to give me my Word docs. That was a doc I couldn't. So yeah, just keep trucking along, guys. Just keep trucking along. Keep going, keep moving. For a minute, this will be your life, but it is tremendously worth it. So let it be your life for a minute. And then maybe you'll also help others too, because your knowledge can spread to others. Godspeed, guys. Love y'all.